Before anything else, make sure you hit subscribe so you never miss the twists and truths that unfold in stories like this. I was stacking the last of the boxes in the garage when she called. Her voice had a casual weightlessness that made my chest tighten before I even understood why. "I'm moving in with him," she said. Not whispered, not hesitant. Just stated, flat and unflinching. My hands froze mid-lift. The box I was holding pressed into my palms like it was suddenly heavier than the world. My mind flinched, trying to rationalize. "You mean, for a week, maybe while sorting things out?" My voice was higher than usual, brittle at the edges. "No," she replied. "I've decided. I'm moving in with my ex permanently. I'm sorry if this hurts you, but..." Her sigh was casual, rehearsed almost. "I can't stay here anymore." The world tilted. The familiar smell of pine sawdust and garage oil seemed suddenly alien, suffocating. I dropped the box. It hit the concrete with a hollow thud that echoed like a verdict. I wanted to scream, to beg, to throw her out, to cry. But all I could do was sink to the floor, feeling the coarse concrete rub against my skin. My mind spinning in impossible loops. How long had this been coming? How many nights had I been sleeping next to someone whose thoughts had wandered away from me? I remembered the late nights, the sudden silence when I walked in the room, her eyes flicking away when I asked questions. The tiny changes, the small lies I had convinced myself didn't exist. The working late emails, the phone always face down, the way her laughter seemed quieter when I entered. My denial had been comfortable. A blanket I had wrapped too tightly around my own suspicion. I could feel my heart pounding in my ears, a relentless drum of rage and disbelief. I wanted to confront her. I wanted explanations. But more than that, I wanted control over something that had slipped entirely from my hands. Then, almost mechanically, I made a decision. I would sell the house. Not tomorrow, not after hours of discussion. Today. Right now. I picked up my phone and called the real estate agent I had trusted. My voice steady despite the storm raging inside me. "List the house." "As is." "Immediately." There was a pause on the line, confusion, a polite attempt at reasoning. I cut it off. "Today. Don't question it." The next hours passed in a blur of phone calls, key handovers, and the flashing adrenaline of betrayal. My living room. The room where we had celebrated anniversaries, argued, whispered secrets, was suddenly just a space of walls and memories I didn't want to touch. Every picture frame, every scent, every cushion felt tainted. She walked in later that evening, carrying the casual arrogance of someone moving on. "You're really selling it?" she asked, feigning shock. I didn't answer. I just handed her the listing confirmation. Her eyes flickered. For a moment, I saw uncertainty, a crack in her polished confidence. But she masked it quickly, with a shrug and a practiced smile. "Guess this is really over, huh?" I wanted to tell her to stay, to fight, to explain. But I didn't. Because I understood now. Some betrayals aren't meant to be repaired. They're meant to be burned away. To leave ashes where trust once lived. As I sat alone that night, listening to the empty house groan and settle around me, I felt every emotion collide. Heartbreak, anger, relief, and a bitter taste of liberation. The decision had been mine, uncompromised and raw. I had taken the power back, even if it meant losing everything we had built. Sleep didn't come. I wandered through empty rooms, touching counters and walls as if imprinting them into memory. The world outside was quiet, indifferent. I imagined her laughter fading, imagined her turning to him, and finding nothing like what she had lost with me. And in the silent hours, I realized the cruel truth. Betrayal is not always dramatic, not always explosive. Sometimes it's quiet, subtle, insidious. It creeps in, rearranges your life, and leaves you staring at the pieces. The house was sold by morning. She hadn't protested, hadn't fought. She just watched, a ghost of familiarity in the doorway, as everything we had shared became someone else's dream. I stepped outside, inhaled the crisp morning air, and felt the weight lift slightly from my chest. It hurt, yes, but betrayal had a way of clarifying things. It revealed the illusions we hold, the lies we live alongside, and most importantly, the choices that remain. I would rebuild. Not with her, not in that house. But I would rebuild. And this time, I promised myself, I would never let someone else hold the key to my life. If you want more stories like this, make sure to subscribe. You don't want to miss the twists, the heartbreak, and the moments that will leave you questioning everything you thought you knew about trust.